Welcome to the Well Within radio podcast. I am your host, Shalina Litt. Sister Mariyha.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I feel a bit nervous actually after that amazing segment by Khadija. Just like a pro.
Oh, bless. Well, yeah, she's doing really well. I said we really should get her out there more, you know. Eventually I'll get her sitting in this seat, I think.
Absolutely.
It will be good. So, for those that don't know you, do let us know who you are and what you do.
Okay, so this is always a bit of like a difficult question to answer because I do so many different things, but my name is Mariyha. I am a mum, a wife, a nurse, a daughter, a community worker, a youth worker, basically anything that's involved with reminding people of their power. That's kind of like my common denominator in everything that I do. So yeah, that's me.
Brilliant. You play it down really because so yeah, tell us, when did it all start for you?
I'm quite lucky, to be honest. I think I've had the privilege of being the daughter of two Pakistani people that came and have done community work their whole life. So for me, I always say I was born into community work. I don't remember when it necessarily started. It was just built into me to live in a way that was of service to other people. My parents really kind of took us to like work with them, so when they were doing youth groups themselves, we were always a part of it, and I feel like it is just an integral part of me. I think that's probably how I'd answer it, is that I was just born into it. It's a part of me. It's not really something that I made a decision to do. I think later on in life, I mean, I did nursing, and I've been a nurse for around, I think, just over 8 years now. And nursing is a really interesting kind of career because I mainly based on like in A&E, and when you work somewhere like A&E, it kind of, you see the world in a completely different perspective. And someone like me who's always had a history in community work, you see the manifestations of the things that are happening in the community at really critical points. So things like substance misuse, for example, because one of the roles that I do is that I'm a community outreach worker for Journal to Dreams, and I'm working on a programme at the moment called Reclaim, which is all about supporting the ethnically diverse communities in Birmingham navigating the emotional impact of substance misuse. So I think when you see, you know, things like that happen in the community, and then as a nurse you're dealing with people in the most critical stages of that, it kind of ties it in and pushes you to want to make more difference in the community. So I don't know if that makes sense. So my nursing career kind of drives my community work as well, which has always been there, but yeah, I think they kind of work together.
Yeah, I think that makes complete sense. I didn't realise you was working in A&E. Like, that must be a big eye-opener, because I know I've had to go there a couple of times, and I think it's a stressful experience sometimes when you're on the other side and I've gone with children more time, you know, and you want them to be seen, but then you see so many other issues happening that need immediate attention, you know, so I can't imagine what that's like. But I have seen often, you know, people that, you know, are maybe drinking or on drugs, and it's an area that I don't really know how to tackle. So it's amazing to know that you're working with Journal to Dreams, and wow, Journal to Dreams like going in this direction. Because of course my daughter has had the pleasure of working with Journal to Dreams. They came to her school.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so really big love to Paris from Journal to Dreams.
Absolutely.
So how has that experience been for you? Have you started implementing the program already? It's called Reclaim, right?
So it's called Reclaim, and I love that you've heard of Journal to Dreams. I'm sure many people have heard of Journal to Dreams and Paris. What she's created is just incredible. And knowing her as a person, it just makes sense that the work that she does is so impactful, because she does it with such a pure heart as well. So Reclaim is the program, and I agree, it's really nice actually that it's gone in that direction, because substance misuse is something that we don't talk about in ethnically diverse communities. We just act like it just doesn't happen, but we all know that it does.
Yeah.
We just don't talk about it. We sweep it under the carpet. And it's going really well. I've had the absolute pleasure of kind of being out in the community and kind of connecting the dots, having a lot of conversations like this where we're just informing people about our service, which is a completely free service. We're commissioned by Public Health. There's absolutely no cost towards it.
Wow.
And essentially what we do is we provide free therapeutic services for anyone navigating the emotional impact, which means you don't even have to be the specific person that's struggling with addiction. You might be someone who's like a relative, a partner, a spouse, for example, that just doesn't know how to deal with it anymore, and you'll still be, you know, entitled to that service. So it just feels like a real privilege for me personally, because as I said, in my nursing career, I've witnessed, you know, the people dying. Like, I've witnessed like probably hundreds of people dying due to substance misuse, and I've had to support so many families. So for me to actually be able to go out there and have these conversations, to be like, there's something there now that can actually help us, and also to create a space for these conversations where it's completely rooted in compassion, that there's no shame. And I always say, when we're talking about things like, when we're talking about anything, but specifically talking about substance misuse, you have to decide if you want to be someone who's going to bring shame to that person or create safety.
Wow.
I don't think that you can have both in the same space. I think you have to decide, are you going to shame that person or are you going to make them feel safe? And for me, I think safety is so important when it comes to owning your story and, you know, these things that have led us to where we are.
Oh my gosh, twofold. I can see, and you know, when you're talking, God, I can feel the emotion from it, you know, and I feel emotional because there are so many people in our community. There was a sister, and obviously I'm not going to expose her name, but she was well known amongst us. And, you know, and I seen her at the hospital, and unfortunately she'd gone into crack use. And, you know, and I was like, you know, I had to kind of really just show her, look, take her back, like, look, yo, it's me. Like, how did you get here? And I didn't know what support to offer, you know. So it's amazing that not only are you supporting the people that are affected by drugs, but you're also supporting people that want to help, family, friends, you know. Well, I don't know about friends, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So anyone who is like directly, and that's why the wording of it is so important, because you're navigating the emotional impact. And it's so true, right? These things like these, we think that if you have an issue with addiction, or if you struggle with substance misuse, you're homeless, you're on the street, you know, we have these really derogatory words like crackheads and whatever to describe people, but that's really not the case. Like, we really just have to just stop using these words, and we have to, if you want to be someone that's making a difference in community, we have to stop using words like that. We have to stop thinking that all people that struggle with these things look like one thing. It's people who are maintaining really great lifestyles. It's people who look like they're doing really well on the outside. They might have businesses, they might, you know, be doing really well financially or outside in the world and on Instagram and stuff, but everyone is holding on to things. Everyone has lived a life, everyone has a story. We don't know that until we ask, and I think it's about having that kind of like compassionate curiosity, and sometimes not even talking about the problem. You know, it's not about the problem, it's about the person. It's about asking them, what's got you here? Just tell me your story. And I think a lot of the time, you know, it's about ensuring that people feel worthy enough to seek that help. Sometimes we don't feel like we're worthy enough to answer that question of how are you. We feel like we have to just be like, yeah, I'm fine, just carry on. But we really want people to know that this is a space for you. You're worth unpacking your story and making that change.
And I like the word reclaim, because you're almost reclaiming something that you've kind of lost the edge on, you know.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to community, I mean, I think it's a difficult topic in community culturally, especially, you know, when we think about the Asian community, we think about, you know, Afro-Caribbean communities, you know. What have you learned in this experience? What would your gems be that you're taking away in terms of the advice for someone who maybe has got a family member that is using, they're not open about it? Have you built that understanding now? Can you give us some gems?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd say that I'm definitely still learning. But what I would say is that I'm yet to meet someone that hasn't been affected by substance misuse.
Wow.
And whether that's directly or indirectly. And I've spoken to a lot of people. I've spoken to a lot of Muslim people, I've spoken to a lot of Asian people, I've spoken to a lot of, you know, people from every single background, in every type of, like, from really, like, high corporations to community events. And then if you're going to take anything away from this, just take that away. Because if you're someone who is dealing with, like, if someone in your family is dealing with substance misuse, if you yourself as someone why have I not spoken to someone who's not affected by it? That means that if you're there holding on to all this shame and feeling like there's no possible way that you could seek help because you're embarrassed, actually you're not alone. There's so many people that are suffering with this, like, behind closed doors, that you're holding on to all this shame, where there are services out there like this that can help. So I think I would just say that we do hide this, but I've not spoken to anyone who isn't affected by it.
Yeah.
So I think that's quite a big thing, and that's something that I think shocks me as well, how many people are affected by it, but yet how little we talk about it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help but wonder and ask the question, because I think, you know, when we look at cannabis, for example, in the community, you know, it's a very considered a very casual drug.
Yeah.
And there's this very thin line, isn't there? To, you know, when is it deemed abuse, you know, and how do we tackle this kind of conversation in communities? Because I think that's what we're actually combating against in the early stages.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, and it's deemed as, like, such a controversial subject, isn't it? Everyone wants to talk about substance misuse until we talk about weed, because weed is our friend, weed is good. But I think that I would personally say, when you're doing anything that turns into a form of escapism, you come back from a really stressful day at work, you no longer have the tools to regulate your nervous system, and you're turning to something, whether that's drink or weed or sex or gambling or anything. You're turning to something to escape from those feelings of stress and pressure and loneliness, let's say. And I would say that's when it becomes a problem. Again, it's not about shame, it's not about condemning anyone, because actually we could also talk about, like, the systemic play of all of this and the placement of these drugs and alcohol into our community. So I wouldn't say it's about shaming, it's about relinquishing control for each person to understand why you're utilizing something. And that's what I mean, it's less about the problem, it's more about the person and their story, because everyone has got a story, everybody's been through something. When you see people on the street, like, everyone has been through something. And I think Reclaim for me is really about saying, let's not even talk about the issue, let's not even talk about what it is that you're using or addicted to. Let's just start from the beginning, and you tell us what your story is and what's led you here, and let's help you liberate yourself from these things that you're leaning on to give your life meaning, or to escape from the reality and the pressures of life that are going to continue to happen, unfortunately. But you're not alone. We can help you. Like, we're kind of saying, let us help you, let us ask you those questions, let us ask you really and truly how you are.
In a safe, confidential space. Love that. You know, so if anybody does want to refer or get on the program, know more details, what steps would they need to take?
Yeah, so I would say to look on the Journal to Dreams website. All of the information is there. Anyone can refer, so you can refer yourself or you can refer somebody else. It's a really, really simple referral as well. Like we really want to remove some of these like accessibility barriers for people, and it's all on the website. So
yeah. And it's fantastic, really well thought out, very meaningful. So we're not gonna stop there because there's just so much to you. I'm sure everyone would be like, how could you let her get away without talking about this and that?
What?
Satori movement. I'm saying it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a Satori movement.
Okay.
So is Jam Talks part of Satori movement?
Okay, so I'm basically like an octopus, I'd say.
Okay.
There's so many different things that I do. So Jam Talks is a podcast that I do with my husband. And I'd say the Satori movement is me and all the community stuff that I do as Mariyha. And then Jam Talks is our podcast that we do together. Does that answer that question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Satori. What is that?
So,
how did that come about?
Okay, so Satori, I've kind of like in my head thought about changing the name to this, but Satori is a Japanese concept of awakening without pain. So there's two types of awakening. There's an awakening that you go through after going through hardship and pain, and then you have like an awakening due to that. And then Satori is an awakening without going through the hardship. And I guess for me, when I started the Satori movement, initially it was because I wanted people to, I didn't think I was going to be someone that gives people awakenings, but I would love for people to like have moments of Satori. So more little moments of awakenings without the pain attached to it. Like, why do we have to wait until we're suffering, and why do we have to wait till our life is crashing down to have those moments of realization? Maybe if we could have it before, it would help us to navigate those situations.
That is so deep. I love it. No, don't change it.
Did you know what? No one has ever asked me that, actually.
Yeah, because obviously we take time
yeah.
I think thinking of a name moving forward is just so important.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I asked it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, and do not change it.
Yeah, thank you.
Please don't. Because now I've learned something, and I can so relate. So Jam Talks, phenomenal. I give thanks. I've been able to attend, but now not, because you put, I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, on a day when I'm hiking, that's why I can't come now. But anyway, how's that been growing? Because it did start from online, right?
Yeah. So essentially that kind of birthed from during the lockdown period. Jermaine, my husband, used to just kind of sit on live and talk about a lot of like community issues, a lot of like work, and just chat. And I think I kind of like overtook it, really, because initially it was just him talking, and then I was like in the background, and he'd say things that I was like, oh, actually I think that, and I so I'd be in the back.
You don't sound like that, sis. No, you don't. I'm not allowing it. I'm not having it.
So I would just kind of be in the back, just adding my little 2 pence. And then we thought, do you know what, why don't we, it really grew. A lot of people would join us and talk about these things. And I think with every conversation, like my thing as well was, you're seeing a lot of people not want to do community work anymore. It's not really like a thing that people do as like a job. So how do we make community work sexy again? How do we talk about community issues in a way that's not depressing, deflating, makes you feel like the world is just an awful place to live in? So we said, right, let's create a space, like let's take this off of just Spotify, off of just online, and let's create a space where we can actually have a discussion.
Yeah.
So it's not just about clickbaity moments, it's not just about rage baiting people, it's actually genuinely about how can we create impact and genuine change in our community about topics that people think are really difficult, but oftentimes they're not difficult, the spaces aren't there to have them. So we started last January, and it's just amazing. I love Jam Talks. I'm so deeply like grateful to it. I'm grateful to God for like speaking through us every time we do it. I'm grateful to everyone that feels connected to it and to comes to it. We get new faces every single time we do it, which is just beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that we can do that, because I think we definitely, I was talking about this the other day, like there's so people get cancelled left, right and centre of like saying things on like talk shows and things like that. So I'm really grateful that we can create a space which goes a lot deeper than just surface level conversations, and people make friends. Like it's not
man.
really out there as like a networky thing, but we encourage everyone to actually build connections with each other, and it's just amazing. I absolutely love it.
You've created such a family experience there. Like, I know that when I've gone there, I felt like I was amongst family, you know, and the topics, like, you're just so open. And I think the fact that you allow people, you know, to get the mic and really speak what's on their heart is very powerful. Because, like you said, it's almost like the culture has kind of taken us away, and we're living in this online world, you know, and it's just so become alien. We need to get back in touch with seeing the little kids run around, and, you know, definitely. So what's to come then, you know, for Mariyha? Because well, I know I poke you a lot. I think I dragged you out of your seat one day and I was like, come to the front. You were like, no, Shalina.
Yeah, honestly, that day I was like, girl, I'm here to listen to you.
I know. But yeah, honestly, sis, you inspire me. No, honestly, like, and so when I seen you, I just got so excited. I was like, wow, you should be up here with me, sis, like, you know. And I think it's important as a sisterhood that we do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, seriously. And I also admire what you did with Nathan and Sabrina, you know, having conversations about marriage. You know, these things need to be spoken about. Because, you know, the space out there is occupied with so many things that are, you know, like, well, even my daughter introduced me to this thing today. And once again, I got left out. It's called the Hamilton or something like that. And I was like, oh, God, you know, like, I just think it's so important that we do have that space for meaningful conversations, and you have definitely created it. Definitely.
Thank you. I do, and so have you. Do you know what I mean? Like, this coming in here today, and just, guys, can I just say, Shalina looks absolutely beautiful behind this mic. Like,
Thank you.
There needs to be like a video part of like New Star Radio so that people can watch you, because you look absolutely gorgeous. But I just think it's really important. I think, and I always say this in everything I do, I think people always throw around like, you should love your neighbour, you should love thy neighbour. But how are you supposed to love a neighbour that you don't know? How are you supposed to love a neighbour when you don't understand their story? And I kind of go back to that story thing, because I think that stories are important. We have to honour them. We have to learn about people before we fall in love with them. Like, that's kind of like the basic thing of how it goes. So for me, I think it's just, I feel very, very, very privileged. It feels like a privilege when anyone shares anything with me. I love people. I love connection. I love creating a space for it. I really think that for me personally, it's one of the greatest gifts and blessings that I have on this earth, to be able to hear people and connect with people and to learn about them. So I'm grateful that I can do that in all of my octopus roles that I have, whether that's nursing or
and being a mum. Can I say, your children, beautiful.
Thank you.
Really, honestly. How's motherhood been for you?
I'm in a really emotional transitional stage of motherhood right now. So my eldest daughter has started school this week.
That's a big, let's say that is big though.
It's huge. I've been like crying like so much. Like, I'm just if anyone has got any tips for this, then please do share. But I love being a mom. I birthed myself when I birthed them both. Like, I feel like they say like you go kind of through like the valley of death to birth your child, and I think that's so true. Like, physically, spiritually, everything, you have to die to be reborn with your baby, and I absolutely feel like that. I've got 2 daughters as well, so I'm someone, I didn't have any sisters. I'm just a complete tomboy, so having daughters is healing a part of me that is just incredible. Again, just a massive like privilege. I think, like, I'm just so grateful to God for everything, and you learn so much about yourself, don't you? Like, through parenting and through becoming a mom, they're like just this big reflection of you.
Wait till you're standing outside the door waiting for them to go sleep.
Honestly, that killed me off. I cannot. You know, when they finished that segment, guys, I literally said, Shalina, wait. You actually used to stand at their bed.
That's right. Oh, you know what I mean?
That is amazing. That is some dedication. That's why she's on here talking about routine.
You know what I mean? And she agreed with me.
She agreed, yeah. There you go.
Oh, you have been amazing, honestly. So if anybody wants to get in touch with, we know Journal to Dreams, you can contact them. But Satori Movement and anything that you're doing.
Yep, you can follow me on Instagram at the Satori Movement.
Can you spell it for them?
Yeah, THE. Oh my gosh, I think I'm dyslexic. Right, THESATORIMOVEMENT.
Someone's writing it down like she spelled it wrong.
That was difficult. Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. And you are welcome to come back when you've got more happening, because I know you have. Take care, and I will see you soon.
Thank you.